Welcome again to another in the series, 28 Faces of Love. And with me right now is Reverend Oliver Daley. Wow. Many of you will remember him from The Counselor and some other times when he was on Love 101. But we're going to talk about his journey with Love 101. Reverend Daley, hello, and how are you?
I'm quite fine indeed. I'm giving God thanks. I'm alive, and I notice you are too.
It's so good to see your face. It's so good to talk with you. And I'm looking forward to what will unravel during this interview. Now, I usually ask our guests, what do you remember as your first link, when you first heard about Love FM? What was happening and what were your thoughts?
Okay. I first heard about Love FM when talk began about forming and starting on the founding of a religious radio station. So I first heard about it from then. I just can't remember where the discussion began, but I know that among the persons with whom I first spoke was Harold.
Harold Blair.
Yes, Harold Blair.
Yeah.
Harold Blair. So I know he and I discovered that he had an idea about a religious radio station before I heard about us forming this radio station. Mm-hmm. So that's how I first heard. I can't remember all the people were first in it, but I remember calling Winston retired and asking him if he would have had an interest, and he said yes. He had an interest in something like that. So that's I recall that's how our discussion with him began.
Yes.
Because I was at that time broadcasting on RJR, and Winston was the person who initiated my participation in that station, and so when we started to engage the process, one of the things that was being objected to was that any news should be carried on the station. Oh, yes, that's that. That was being suggested to us, that we could have a station, but it should be a station without news.
Wow.
And
I wonder why though.
Well, I didn't.
That's so sad, because news probably had a bad taste all the way back, and it still has a little,
Yeah.
But look at us now.
That was in early negotiations, though.
Yeah.
It might just have been a religious station with religious issues and the music, and that news was not considered then a part of the programming of the station. So that was my initial interaction with the station, and I remember when we got a team together, because it was then decided that it should be the collective effort of all denominations, and Catholics, Adventists, the whole church. It was a church project.
Yes.
And I remember when we got together, because we never had a name for it, and it was Carmen Stewart. You remember her?
Yes.
She was one who named it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I remember at the meeting when she said, "I think we should call it Love."
Yes. I can just see her now saying that. Never so rest in peace. Yeah.
Yeah. And when something is collectively approved, mm-hmm. As soon as she said it, there was a smile on every face.
Wow. Wow.
All other discussions died.
Yes.
There was a collective sense of, this is it.
This is it. That's the confirmation. I love it. So the journey to the formation, the start, the engine is running, and February 14 comes, 1993. Where were you? What was it like? And
was past at that time at Webster Memorial.
Webster Memorial United Church. That was downstairs. And we were on the same compound.
That's correct. That's correct because that was a part of the discussion as to where it could be located. And
Yes.
I remember having this discussion with our church leaders to say we have the space, make it be available here.
Yes.
And you know, it's one of those things. I think we were also excited about this station. That I don't know if you ever recall you're going on an excursion and you can't sleep the night before.
Yes. Excitement come up. Oh my goodness. Yes.
That's so exciting.
Wow.
We felt about the first time it was going to go public.
Yes. Yes.
That's how it
Yes.
felt. That sense of collective achievement, the sense of
Wow.
the church having a voice of its own, a sense of being able to share the gospel in a way determined by us in this unique privilege
Yeah.
of the radio. All of those, and importantly so, Nadine, a sense that this was the ecumenical effort of the church. I felt that the church was working together on an
Yes.
issue in a very special way. I can't recall any other matter bringing us together in this collective way.
Wow.
And there was this sense of consensus when we gathered, although there were differences and issues to be sorted out. There was this sense of ability to have consensus
Yes.
around getting it formed and founded. So, as I said, I was getting on.
Wow, I can only imagine that. Well, I mean, I had my form of excitement too because I was on that journey as well. And I remember that Sunday morning, I don't remember everything about the Sunday morning. I think we had a service in the office, right?
Yes, yes, yes. It
Yeah.
was in the office. Yes.
hmm what about programs or as the programs began to unfold? Because at the beginning it was a lot of music, a lot of Brooklyn, and a lot of Grace thrillers. But
Yes.
when all of that began to unfold, and you're in your car, or you're at your home, or you're in your office, and you're hearing love, describe that feeling.
Oh, it was a sense. There was a sense of there was a sense that it has arrived.
Yes, moving on.
Yes, yes. The feeling that it was arrived. And as I said, the sense of achievement, of working together and making it
Mhm.
happen. And
Yes,
then hearing it on the air because there was a
yes,
time so many people, this was what they were waiting for, and we
yeah.
were waiting for. And I have
And
and I
and
have been, and I have been listening since. You see?
and somewhere along the line, you became the counselor with Reverend. I was listening to the promo the other day. The
Yeah.
counselor with Reverend Oliver Daly.
Yes.
Show
Yes.
it. What was that like sharing in the council in such a position, and being on radio and helping people?
I felt as though I was making a contribution to a cause.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I felt. I was making a contribution to a cause, and that is generally the cause of the station itself.
Mhm.
And I also then felt I was making a contribution to a human issue,
Mhm.
the issue of inviting people to reflect on personal issues and seeking through this medium to see if I could participate in helping to get a sense of direction on something that was important to somebody,
Yeah.
but also to see if, in the process of doing so, I could provide a medium of reflection for those who were listening, to see if they could identify with what was being
Being
said in a
said,
personal way,
yes.
and if they could
hmm
benefit. These assumptions were there as
hmm
I was on the air doing that program. So
Wow.
it was special in that sense. These features of it were, and I must say there were times when I was having a discussion with someone and it was complex and in terms of the issues, and I wasn't really sure how to lead people through it. and I would get off the air and I would speak to a psychiatrist, I would speak to somebody else, and they would give me a sense of direction. I would get back, and the next time I would know how to do it.
Wow. You were committed. You were committed. Yes, it was beyond just being on air, but you were committed to these persons and the
Yes,
situations.
that's
Yeah.
correct.
Are there any that stand out that you can share without, any situations that you were able to help someone through that, you know?
I don't think anyone stands out in my mind right now, not having thought of it. But the issues were from every area
Wow.
of human life. There were those who struggled with pregnancy termination. There were those who struggled with same-sex relationships on this program. There were those who struggled with um, trying to work out life in a blended family.
Yeah.
The issues of that. There were those who struggled with their marriage, trying to figure out how they work out their lives in a conflict-driven and conflict-related relationship. There were those who shared their joys. I mean, I've had programs where people have struggled with an issue, and then there were those who called and shared the joyous and meaningful stories about themselves. It wasn't
Yes.
about sad things. There was a
Plethora
convergence.
of yes.
Yes.
I love it. What I think about, you remember that line from the Olympic commercial, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. You have a wide differences in emotions that are expressed. Reverend Daley, what is your prayer for Love FM now? We're celebrating 28 years. What would you say is your prayer for Love 101 now?
My prayer that love, it is being done in a sense, but love will play a part in helping this society to come to grips with the moral agenda that faces this nation. That there's a moral agenda that needs to be sorted out in this land.
Yes.
I would pray that love will play a part in giving a kind of moral clarification to some of the issues that we face in this land. And I think that there is no other station that is, in my mind, should be tasked with this as much as should Lord be.
Wow.
Because this nation needs to, in my mind, come face to face with its moral issues in a clearly defined way. I know I've heard programs on the station that have attempted to do this, but I just feel it's a challenge that should be taken, and that the moral clarification of issues.
Yes.
That I feel.
I'm gonna write that down. I like that. The moral clarification of issues. Yes.
I feel that put it this way. When we talk about politics and political issues, I don't know if we are the best person to do that. When we talk about economic issues, I'm not too sure if we are the best person to do that. Although we should.
Yes.
But when we talk about moral issues, we are the persons to do that.
Yes.
That's why we have a station with this kind of identity. And I've prayed about ability in this moment. I ask myself this.
Yes.
By the way, in the early days, there was a classical program.
Yes. The concert hour.
I could not miss that.
Yes. 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Friday, the concert hour.
I did not wish to be interrupted at
Yes.
that time as much as I could. So I wonder if there's a place for an intervention of that kind still on this.
Oh,
I wonder.
wow.
Maybe not 7 days a week, but I really wonder if there isn't an audience um,
For this
for
kind.
yes,
I know that Vivian does, I think musically speaking or instrumentally yours on a Sunday.
yeah,
Let's see what can happen. Let's see what can
yeah,
happen.
yeah. It was a wonderful
Reverend,
program,
yes,
and he was a good spokesperson for it. The
yes.
wide range of classical music he had on it.
Well, Mr. God carry us to school. He carried us to school on that. Reverend Daley, it's been such a pleasure talking with you. Your your ability to counsel, to calmly, speak and challenge. Because I am challenged now. Moral classification of issues. Love and then needs to address. That's my homework. So I thank you. I thank you so much for sharing. And I thank you for the role that you played and for
Thank
taking
you.
the time to share, to interview so many persons, even when you had your greatest pain. You
Yes.
were,
Okay.
yes, you
Yeah.
shared and you loved and you gave, and
Yes.
we are truly grateful. We thank you so much, Reverend Oliver Daly, and we do pray you God's. And I'm sure you're still finding some way to counsel people, right?
Yes, I do a little of it still,
Yes,
where there are needs that I can identify and I do. And I just want to thank God
yes.
for you, Nadine, for your role on this station, for your contribution, for the expression of your faith as I listen to you, and for the way you give a sense of passion to what you do and make us feel connected to you. I heard somebody saying the other day they have never met you, but they feel they know you. And
Wow. Yes, yes, yes. I get those. I get those. And it's an honor to serve.
yeah,
It's an
okay.
honor. Thank you so much and all the very best. Reverend
You
Oliver
too,
Daly.
Nadine. Take care.
Wow. Thank you so much for watching. And